Hello and welcome. Tonight, we go into the basement. Enjoy. It happened faster than I could have imagined. One summer day, I was pedaling down our main street, sunshine beaming down from the sky, so hot it felt personal. And the next thing I knew, two people grabbed me from behind, a pair of hands on each shoulder, yanking me from my bike. I remember the bike kept going for another turn and a half before falling over. Then the light was gone, and I was in a vehicle, a bag over my head. The two people who had grabbed me were sitting next to me while another drove off. Time disappeared, and I'm not sure if I screamed, but I must have because someone was yelling at me to shut up. Darkness took over completely when someone hit me on the back of the head. The next thing I remember, I was in a cool, damp basement room. I was still in my own clothes, but my pockets were emptied of the small switchblade I always carried. I was on a bed, and under me were blankets that smelled of sweat and had a grimy, uncared-for feeling, as if they were filled with the skin cells of other people. I laid, semi-awake, clutching the filthy bed sheets and blankets as my only form of comfort. The thin mattress rested on a cement floor, and in the corner was a dirty yellow bucket. I shifted to the side and noticed a plastic water bottle near me, filled to the top and still sealed. I unscrewed the lid and drank, yet as I did, a series of taps coming from behind me made me jump and choke. I turned around on the bed as the palms of my hands were immediately coated in sweat. I twisted the top of the water bottle back in place and carefully set it down to listen, pressing my ear to the drywall. The taps continued, slow and deliberate. Tap, pause, tap, tap, pause, tap. It was a pattern. Slow, tapping, repeated in the same rhythm. Seconds after it began, it stopped. I held my breath, waiting for more. Then, from a different direction, farther along the wall, came another series of taps, but in a different pattern. On the other side of the drywall was either one person, moving back and forth to various sections of the wall, or two people. Instinct and logic told me that these measured taps were a form of communication. I curled my pointer finger and tapped my knuckle against the wall one time. What I hoped meant hi. A flutter of taps came back at me from the two parts of the wall, but I had no idea how to interpret what they meant. Just then came the sound of someone on the steps, and the tapping ceased. The door to my room burst open, and a man entered. He had dull, red hair and dark freckles around his nose. He wore loose, ripped jeans and a white t-shirt, but was barefoot. I pulled my blankets tighter to me, but all he did was throw a sandwich wrapped in plastic at me. I pleaded with him that I needed to use the bathroom, but he just pointed at the bucket and shut the door. I heard two more doors open and shut. When his steps faded into the distance, the taps resumed, but differently this time. It was just one tap, repeated in a steady rhythm, as the sound moved over the wall, like it wanted me to follow it. The taps led to a vent, through which slipped a napkin. I rushed over to the thin paper and unfolded it. Written in a dark, smudgy scrawl was the following: name, ? Tap code. First tap equal row. Second equal letter. What followed was a grid of letters and numbers. Before the first row was a number 1, then A, B, C, D, E, F. The second row had a number 2, and then G, H, I, J, K, L, and so on for the entire alphabet. I tapped out my name, Abby. In response, the person on the right side of the wall was Jennifer, and on the other side was Alex. Over the next several hours, they told me everything they knew, such as that there used to be someone else in my room named Peter, but that Peter was gone now. They said their doors were always locked, and they'd been in those rooms for what they believe was 3 to 4 months. They said that Alex is only 13, and Jennifer just turned 14. I told them that I was 15, and that we needed to escape. The entirety of that night we hatched a plan. The next day, when the red-headed man visited, I was ready. As soon as that guy opened the door to throw food in, I grabbed my yellow bucket, now filled with urine and feces, and flung the disgusting contents in his face. His hands flew to his eyes and he spit as I football tackled him out of the door. My tackle caused him to fall backwards, exiting my room. He hit his head on the floor, and for one amazing second he was too dazed to do much. As fast as I could, I spun the lock on Alex's door. He burst out and landed his knee on the red-headed guy's face, breaking his nose. I unlatched Jennifer's door, and she too punched the red-headed guy, setting her fist down from a standing position. From above, we heard the distinct sound of running. Then the door opened, and footsteps thundered down the stairs. The three of us searched the now incapacitated guy for a gun or a knife or any form of protection, but he had nothing. When 2 men reached the basement with guns raised, we held up our hands. They pushed us back into our respective rooms. About an hour later, both guys returned. One held a gun at me, and the other had zip ties. The guy with the zip ties latched my legs together so that I had to crawl like a sort of mermaid slither if I wanted to move. The 3 of us prisoners continued to tap together until Jennifer disappeared one day. Looks like Alex and I just have to wait until it's our turn to go to the next place. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed that story, please hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.